Is Jun-Ho still alive after getting popped? Will Squid Game travel further than South Korea in Season 2? And is Gi-hoon a son of the old man? Here's what's to expect from the next part. This sinister game is bigger than you think. In the 7th episode of Squid Game, one of the evil VIPs implies that activities take place all around the world. I bet this was his way of teasing us about what's coming up in Part 2.
I hope you won't disappoint me.
It's currently unknown how many countries have their own Squid Games, but there's a deeper backstory there, and the show has barely even scratched the surface of it. Season 2 is the perfect opportunity to establish just how much of a phenomenon the Squid Game is on a global scale. This is a neat idea too, as it gives the show a chance to incorporate more versions of the game into the story. There's no denying that part of Squid Game's appeal is due to the fact that South Korean thrillers always kick ass. But that's a big old hypothetical at the moment. You came here for facts about Season 2, and we have some of those as well. You see, Squid Game creator Hwang Dong-hyuk shared some story ideas for Season 2 in an interview with The Times. While he's been open about being in no rush to make another series, he is very open to the idea. While there are no concrete story plans at the moment, Hwang said that he's keen to explore the topic of police misconduct in Season 2, which is another universal idea that he thinks will resonate with folks. Here's what he had to say on the matter. I think the issue with police officers is not just an issue in Korea. I see it on the global news. This was an issue that I wanted to raise. Maybe in Season 2 I can talk about this more. Hwang's words suggest that the cops won't be presented as clear-cut good guys though. He's setting out to explore the good and bad sides of law enforcement, which should make for some dramatic storytelling. Consider this scenario. The police are protecting the elites who run Squid Game. This is a show that's all about corrupt capitalists, so the bigwigs are definitely gonna have some cops in their back pockets.
Would you like to play a game?
Jun-Ho tried to send evidence of the Squid Game back to his commanders in the finale. If it somehow got back to them, don't be surprised if it ends up being swept under the rug by one of the higher-ups. At the same time, his cell phone did have poor service, so maybe the information didn't make it back to his chief in the first place.
Games?
Games are my thing, you know? I'll play all the games you ask me to.
You wanna play games? Go to an internet cafe. What's wrong with you freaking pervert?
Elsewhere, the show's creator wants to chronicle the story of the frontman in more detail.
Shall we?
Following the villain's big reveal at the end of Season 2, people are gonna need to know what happens next. Not only did he possibly kill his brother, but he's a fascinating fella. Here's a guy who went from being a desperate contestant in the Squid Game to becoming a right-hand man for its evil overlords.
I am the front man who operates and oversees all matters here. It is a true honor to welcome you.
Besides, who doesn't want to see him face off against Jun-Ho again? That's if Jun-Ho was alive anyway, but we all know that he is. It's worth remembering that his bro only shot him in the shoulder, which isn't the most fatal kind of bullet wound. The frontman is known for making headshots as well, so he was clearly torn here.
I'm sorry.
Jun-Ho's death also wasn't explicitly shown either. Squid Game tends to showcase the atrocities in all of their gory glory, so being ambiguous about this one raises some doubts. Granted, Jun-Ho did go tumbling off a cliff, but the water below probably cushioned his fall. The family drama between the pair of disillusioned siblings is far too compelling to end so soon. Revenge is exciting and all, but can you imagine how intriguing and morally conflicting it'll be for Jun-Ho to take down his own blood? That's if it even goes that far. Maybe they'll make amends and give us a feel-good storyline for a change. Jun-Ho's fate isn't the only cliffhanger though. What's the deal with Gi-hoon? Can he put the past behind him and concentrate on being a good father?
Looks like the real deal, doesn't it?
I think you'll get in trouble with Mom again if she saw me holding this.
Sound right?
Or will he seek vengeance against those who created Squid Game in the first place? I'm sure you can hazard a guess.
참가를 원하시면 기아의 이름과 생년월일을 말씀해 주세요.
As a survivor of the Squid Game, Gi-hoon has proven himself to be quite the fighter, and I'm willing to bet everything that he has some unfinished business with the Game Masters. The show might already have given away the answer too, albeit in a symbolic way. Hence his groovy red hair in the finale. While it is possible that he just fancied a change to his fashion, some viewers have interpreted the bold hairstyle as foreshadowing for something great. Basically, they think he's going to return as a masked guard in Season 2 and take down the system from within.
Those who win all 6 games will receive a handsome cash prize.
This might be easier than you think, too. According to another popular fan theory, the guards are all previous winners in their own right. The theory posits that they all blew through their money and got into more debt after being set free, so they might have accepted jobs on the other side of the game in order to get their lives back on track. That's entirely possible from a logical standpoint. Think about it. It is established that many of the participants are gambling addicts, and those habits are difficult to break.
These people suffered from inequality and discrimination out in the world, and we're giving them one last chance to fight fair and win.
You'd like to presume that surviving Squid Game and becoming rich would teach them the value of a buck, but all of that can go out the window when temptation is thrown in your face. Granted, this is a wild theory that might not come true. Let's not forget that a young boy was discovered to be a guard in episode 3, and he probably wasn't a gambling addict. There are probably more insidious forces at play regarding the guards. If you don't buy that theory, here's another interesting one to consider. Remember the dude in the first episode who presented red and blue cards and told Gi-hun to pick a color? This scene was probably a nod to the Matrix.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
And just like the red and blue pills Neo had to pick from in that movie, each card determined a different fate for Gi-hun. He chose blue and woke up as a player later on. But if he had chose red, would he have been selected as a guard? Boggles the mind, to say the least. Still, the notion of Gi-hun coming back in disguise is intriguing all the same. Additionally, if Jun-Ho is still alive, and we all know that he is because come on, then Gi-hun might have a companion to rage against the machine with. And that's a tag team we can all get behind. Speaking of the machine, in the final episode, Oh-il-nam is revealed to be one of the game's founders, but he set it up with some rich buddies who were bored and desperate for some entertainment. But who else was involved? Are they still alive? How deep does this thing run? These are some of the bigger questions that will need to be answered in the next installment and beyond. Furthermore, there are other burning questions regarding Oh-il-nam. Namely, is he Gi-hun's father? This seems pretty far-fetched considering that most parents would be opposed to having their son enter the Squid Game. Then again, some fans of the show are convinced that they're related. There are a few clues sprinkled throughout Season 1 that suggest the old man knows more about Gi-hun than he's letting on. A key example is their conversation about spanking in Episode 3. You probably recall that moment where Oh-il-nam asked Gi-hun if he was spanked as a kid. When Gi-hun asks how he knew that, the old man responded by saying his son was also on the receiving end of a few love taps. The show drops other little hints in other episodes, but they could have been coincidental. Let us know your thoughts on this theory. Still, until Gi-hun learns more about his family history, this theory is as good as any. But Season 2 will undoubtedly shed some light on that stuff. What would you like to see in the next season of Squid Game? And if you liked this video, be sure to check out our explainer of the uniforms in the show.